Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, how's it going? I am so excited to talk to you today. The weather is so beautiful. I love change, and so spring and fall are just like the best. You're so sick of the endless winter or the heat that you can't escape, and just a change is nice. And today I'm going to talk about a fantastic change, which is not being in charge of your kids' happiness and in reverse, not having them be in charge of your happiness. We do this a lot as humans. We think that other people are in charge of making us feel happy or loved, and we, in turn, want to try to make people feel happy or loved or special to fix whatever emotional distress they're dealing with that is uncomfortable for us to witness. It's a common thing, and oftentimes our kids buy into this relationship dynamic, which is your teen expects you to make them happy. And we buy into it and agree with it, or maybe we don't, but they still want us to. Or maybe we want to make them happy and we're trying to meddle with them and they don't want to be meddled with. They want to be left alone and feel their feelings and do their thing without us trying to fix everything so that they're happy. And I'm using happy as a generalization. You can pretty much plug in any emotion here that you want, right? Like when they expect us to manage their life, to manage their spirituality, to manage their schedule, we shouldn't be managing anything for them the older they get. Okay? The goal here is that by the time they launch into adulthood, they're making their own hair appointments, their own dentist appointments, all those different things, doing their laundry. They know how to cook a few meals. This is a process. And of course, this is for neurotypical, healthy adolescents, right? There's always exceptions to every generalization. So I say this with a grain of salt. This can sound very sneaky. It can sound like I just don't know how to help them, or I just want them to be happy, or I'm so scared for them, or I email their teachers because they're not doing the things they should, or I talk to their friends' parents, right? I get it. But the next thing that I wonder when I hear something like, I don't know how to help them, is what would actually help them in this situation the most, like long term? To rescue them, to help them, or to allow them to gain grit, tenacity, resilience, and learn some skills by not helping them? So let's break this down and talk about it, because I think that sometimes we can jump in and help them. I rarely buy into an all or nothing mentality. So I'm talking again, generalizations. But let's talk about why your teen's hard emotions are so difficult for us to deal with, that we just want to jump in and rescue and save and make them happy, help them. Because we think it's a sign that their future is doomed and that we have failed, in a nutshell. That if our kids aren't happy, that it is some moral flaw in us. I promise if you dig deep enough, we internalize this as this. And it drives us bananas trying to fix their struggling. And it can sound like I just love them and it's so hard to watch. And I get that. But just like you have a little chicken, if people break open the shell and the chick doesn't have to peck its way out of it, it's too weak to have a healthy, happy, full life. The chick has to break out of the shell all on its own. The mommy chick does not help the baby chick. The baby chick just has to gain the grit and tenacity and strength to break out of its shell to be healthy and happy. And this is the same thing with our children. It is not the hen does not look at the baby chick and say, "Oh, they're struggling. I must have built a shell that's too hard for them. Or maybe if the shells around them were different, then it would be easier for this little chick that's trying so hard." No. So many times in so many different situations, I tell parents, what if nothing has gone wrong in the situation that you just told me? What if actually everything is going according to plan? And this difficult, hard, unforeseen thing is happening because there are valuable lessons that are within this struggle that your kid actually needs for future reference. What if that were true? Because I kind of think it is, even when it really stinks. So the first thing that we need to do is really be honest with ourselves as to how we're interpreting our child's struggle. It can be really uncomfortable for people around us to be having a hard time, and we have to just witness that. We jump in and try to fix things for people all the time. Like, let's say your girlfriend is complaining about not liking her hair. Well, we're going to tell her where we go get our hair done and how amazing our girl is. But maybe she actually likes her girl and she just doesn't feel good about herself. And so she's bagging on her hair. And she actually just needs to be heard. I guarantee you have been on the receiving end of this, where you're having a bad day, you're having a hard moment, and you just want to be heard. But that person is trying to fix your sadness or anger. And it just pisses you off more. Have you ever been there? Because I sure have. I remember when my husband and I were first married, and he is a wonderful husband. And I would come home from work really frustrated and I would complain about all the things that aren't working at work. And he would come up with fantastic solutions. And it would just make me more upset because I didn't actually want to change my job. I just wanted to vent. But he didn't like my discomfort because he loved me so much. And it's uncomfortable to see people you love unhappy. And so finally one day I had to say, listen, you just have to be like my friend Charity, who had been my roommate and best friend for years. I was like, you have to be like Charity. You can only say 2 or 3 things, right? You can say, that really stinks. I'm so sorry. Let's go slash their tires or egg their house or whatever. Like, those are the 3 things that you can say. And that's it. You can nod. You can have a sad face. That's it. Like, you literally can't do anything. And I'm not going to do anything about it. We're not going to go beat him up. We're not going to slash tires. But, sometimes a little comedic relief feels nice to make light of the situation and like overreact. But that's the first step in freeing yourself from this bondage of being in charge of each other's emotions. Because we humans, we run around and we play these games with each other that actually creates disingenuous relationships because we're not honest. Because if we think that we're honest, that we might hurt somebody's feelings, but then we resent them because we're having a hard time, but our dishonesty is making it really hard for people to understand us. The second thing is that we have to stop rescuing our child and start mentoring them through the process of gaining emotional resilience. And the best way to do this is to be emotionally resilient yourself. And this is one of the main things that I work on with my clients. I would love to work on this with you if this is something that you see yourself struggling in. Because modeling through example that we are okay with discomfort, that we understand that the minutia of the little everyday things like homework assignments or, rude text messages isn't the end of the world. And we can hold that space for our child of allowing them to be upset and not joining them in the upset and trying to rescue and fix. And I'm going to call their mom right now or any of that business and just be like, yeah, that does stink. And sometimes friends say really rude things. And if we're honest, sometimes we say really rude things about our friends too that they find out about on occasion because we're all human and it's messy being human. and just mentoring them through simple conversations like that, we are teaching them emotional grit, intelligence, resilience, and that is the legacy that we actually want to leave our kids. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. All right, my friends. There are a lot of emotions and reasons why we glom on to the idea and buy into the narrative that it's our job to create their happiness or that they should create ours, right? They're interchangeable. Some common ones are guilt, misguided ideas of what love is, a confusion of what kindness and being nice is. And what I see most often, or often enough, is that we're trying to heal our wounds and calibrate our nervous system responses through caretaking another's, our child or our spouse, whomever's emotions and happiness we think we're in charge of. This habit, for whatever reason, wreaks havoc on us, our sense of self, our sense of well-being, and our ability to find peace, because our brain, for whatever reason, again, has bought into the fact that peace and a sense of safety, so not anxiety or stress or worry, can only be found once this other person is happy or comfortable emotionally. And that's crazy making, because that's impossible for us to provide. And so this habit, it enables a sense of helplessness within both parties. We feel helpless. The person that wants us to calibrate their happiness and create it for them feels helpless, like they can't do it for themselves or that they shouldn't do it for themselves. And this, as if it weren't bad enough, it distracts us from what is actually the most helpful thing from happening, which is parents moving through their issues and growing and gaining skills and healing wounds, and kids learning accountability and emotional skills that they are responsible for their happiness and their emotional comfort, not anyone else. That is a gift. That is like perhaps one of the most important gifts that we can give our kids. But when we see it as a sense of failure within ourselves, if they're unhappy, we are denying them that gift when we try to fix and jump in and manage. This habit or relationship dynamic, it models a false and harmful relationship dynamic that typically kids from home, not always, but a lot of times we try to mimic relationships that we've had in the past, especially our family of origin. And so they will perhaps mimic, even if they say they don't want to be anything like you, they'll still do it in sneaky ways. They'll mimic it in other relationships and partnerships. I was just coaching somebody, and her adult son hates his dad. But guess what? And he would say he's nothing like his dad, but he's mimicking those dad patterns to his mom himself, but he can't see it. And so our kids might say, and we might say, we don't want to be anything like our parents. But with a well-trained eye, you can see how we do. And so we want to offer them something better to mimic in healthy ways in other relationships and other partnerships, We don't want to create future problems for them. We have to step up to the plate and grow ourselves up emotionally so that we aren't passing anything on to them that isn't helpful and beautiful. Because we pass things on to them, lots of things. We want to make sure as many of them as possible are helpful. It models codependency or enmeshment, again, which is just never a happy pattern for anyone to have to live with. It feels very scarce, very uncertain, very anxious to have a relationship built on this kind of codependency. How do we prevent this? How do we stop this? You, listening to me, you are the only person that you can control. The only person. And you and I both know that that's still even hard, right? I have a hard time controlling myself all the time, and I bet you do too. But it's the easiest person for us to control, is us. We have to do the work. You and I, we have to clean up our headspace. We have to heal wounds. We have to be okay with kids not being happy or comfortable emotionally all the time. They're not supposed to be. And this is how we can. We hold space for them. What that means, that's a coachy term. We allow them to feel, we witness, we love, but we do not jump in to fix or rescue. We can troubleshoot with them if they're interested in that, but mainly we are there to witness and normalize. Every emotional experience that your kid will or will ever have, normal. I promise it's normal. Same with you. It is normal to have a very wide spectrum of emotions. That's called being human. We don't have to make anything better. And the trick to shifting this pattern now from thinking we're in charge of their happiness to allowing them to be in charge of their happiness, which is actually the truth, and doing it now, which again is the best time to start doing this, you have to see yourself. And I promise you, we all do this. I want to save my children all the time. I want to create happiness for them all the time because I am very empathetic and I have a tendency to people please based off of how I was raised. And so I really have to be self-aware to not do this. And when I'm doing it, I have to be self-aware enough to think, I am doing this. I need to stop it and not do it. And it's totally possible because for the most part, I live in that land now. And that's the goal. Just so that you know you're not a robot and you can't not do this 100% of the time. So what I like to tell my clients and what I want to offer to you is that we want to shoot for, like, if you have one of those scales where it tips from one side to the other, we want to tip the scale so that we're doing it less often than not. And to me, an A+ is actually a B-. If you can get there like 80% of the time, that's the ultimate goal. Tip the scale is the first goal. The second long-term goal is a B-. If you can do it like 80% of the time, that's 100% in my book. That's amazing. Because we're human and our brains sometimes just snatch us before we even know what's happening. My friend, I help parents work through their stuff. This is what I do all day. I just had the most fantastic session before I got on this call. That is why I feel so passionate right now. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. Maybe it's allergies that you hear. But we have to heal the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. And every parent does this. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean anything has gone wrong. It just means you're human and you've lived a human life in a fallen, awful world with crazy people all around us. And sometimes we're the crazy person. I help you work through your stuff. Tragically, I don't tell you the magic word to get your kid to talk or to stop doing something. And if anybody ever tells you that they know the secret recipe to get your kid to behave, please run. Please run. They aren't helpful. They aren't good. They just want your money. There's no secret recipe to control another human, especially a teenager. It's false. I help my clients by helping you love and heal all of you and loving all of your child, regardless of what they're doing. And I know that that sounds really basic and maybe like pie in the sky and a little maybe altruistic. But when we can get there, like tip the scale so it's most of the time, all of these issues tend to self-resolve. That's actually magic. This is how this issue gets taken care of, with healing on your part and lots of love. And again, I know that sounds really basic, but if you don't trust me, just so you know, clients who work one-on-one with me, I offer a free consult call. And on that call, I outline ways to work with me. And my favorite way to work with somebody to give them the best results that they want is one-on-one. And I work on with my clients for 16 weeks or 16 appointments, depending on how that looks. Anyway, I guarantee every single client that I offer that to, I don't offer it to everybody. Sometimes it's not a good fit. But if you get on a call and I can see where you're going astray and what you need to help with your relationship, I will outline the exact steps to you and I will tell you those steps. And if you decide to do those steps with me as your guide and your mentor, I guarantee that if you don't have those results in 16 sessions, you get another 16 for free. And guess what? I have never had to give anybody 16 sessions for free, which is kind of awesome. It's a guarantee. I totally would. And I would love it because your goals are my goals. And I am here to create healing and love and healthy family dynamics. That is my passion and my drive. And I am here to do this for you. So if you see yourself in this dynamic or any other painful relationship dynamic, and I'm guessing you do because you're here listening, I invite you to take a leap of faith and just meet with me. It's a free call. The link is in the show notes. It is not hard to click a time and come talk to me. And if it's not a good fit or you don't think I can help you, that's totally cool. I love you just the same. And I'm here every week on my podcast if you find it helpful. But to be able to fully heal and love yourself so that you can fully love all the people in your life is a massive shift and gift that only you can give. And it's the most powerful one and the most loving one that you can give your kids. I'm excited to potentially meet you on an upcoming call. I'll talk to you next week.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting style.